Okay, so we've dobbed this up. I normally like to wait a few hours to let the wax cure. It's just better the stones just don't pop off the dob stick as much. The other thing is the length of your dob stick. That's your halfway point on your wheel, and I like to have probably about 2.5 inches, 50 mil between the bottom of the stick and the base of the cutting machine. So that's where I like to work. That's your centre point for shaping. Also, I'll start on this wheel, but I may have to go back to the wheel prior. So we'll just see how we go, and you can watch me cut. Itself to a teardrop, so that's the way we'll work with it. So we're just going to gently round these corners off here, and you can see that I'm starting to round it off. Sometimes we just may have to adjust the water, and also to give your wheels longevity, don't always work in the middle where you're going to wear them out. Work right across the wheels and you'll find that your wheels last longer. So I'm just going to take a bit more of this hot chalk. We did it on the other two wheels before, but this one's a bit gentler. So I'm working in the middle of the wheel horizontally. Another thing is when you're dobbing up a stone, if you have lots of wax up the side of the stone, just get a Stanley knife and gently chip it off a bit, because if you have a lot of wax up the side, you're just going to fill the wheels up with wax. You can see that that's starting to look like a teardrop shape. Now I've got it on an angle here, I'm just cutting in underneath. This is what we want, it's like a cupcake where it's domed on top or cabochoned on top, and then tapered in underneath to make it nice and easy fitting. And you can already see that it's not straight there, so I'll just cut that in a bit more. What we don't want is the bottom of the stone wider than the top. So I'm just going to start, you can see the thickness here, I'm just going to start to even the thickness up around the top. So I'm going to go like this, I'm just going to take the top down, and we're just going to spots and high spots. So we're just working on that now. purple that you get it from ethically sourced miners. Now I'm working my way up the wheel. So each wheel is getting finer and finer. Now with the wheel, if you want to cut underneath the stone, you move to the top of the wheel. If you want to cut the top, you move to the bottom. And that's where it's very handy to have your stone in the centre part of the wheel. With each position on the wheel will cut some other part of the oval. And now you can see that I'm getting a nice taper in here, which makes it perfect for a jeweller to set into a seat of a ring or pendant, whatever. Just move down here a little bit. And this, as I said before, is getting finer and finer and finer. And it's important that you keep moving across the wheel so you don't get flat spots in the pad or in the face of the stone. Also look for any sort of bits of sand and you can cut them out. So I'm just moving this up and down the wheel like this and smoothing off the edges and the curves and running it over like that. What the stone look. I could spend a little bit more time. I've probably got another 5 or 10 minutes on it, but this gives you the idea of what it's going to look like. And in the next video we'll show you how to polish it off with Lapsar and the end pad.